What's up, guys? It's me, Mercy, and welcome to Beansmore Productions. And I'm here to give you guys another video. Zoro has always given us many great moments, and a bunch of them is when he pulls out a technique to cut down his opponent. So, for this video, I'm going to list down my top 10 Zoro techniques. Warning, this is my personal Zoro techniques list. It's all opinionated. Got that? Good. Also, I will only choose one variation of a Zoro technique. Zoro has different types of the same technique, so I will only choose one. Before we begin, do not forget to leave a like in this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and press the bell for notifications for my videos comes out. Also, please share this video with your fellow friends and One Piece fans so they can watch my content. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 10. Flame Rend, also known as Homurasaki. This is a Fox Fire style technique in which the person slashes their sword to slice an oncoming fire attack. It was first used by Kinemon, but Zoro eventually learned to use it and adapted to his swordsmanship. Zoro first used it against Prometheus in Root Peace. There is just something so awesome about being able to cut fire. Cutting stuff is cool, and still too, but fire is just the coolest thing to cut, as normally you cannot cut something as non-solid as fire. But with this technique, you're able to do just that. And that's why it is my number 10. Number 9. Ashura, Blades Drawn, Dead Man's Game, also known as Ashura Bakei Moya no Tawamure. First, Zoro holds Emma out horizontally in his right hand, his other swords in his left hand and mouth as usual, and enters his Ashura state, with the silhouette behind him clasping two of his 6 hands. Amid this, Haki begins emanating from him as he hardens his swords, only using armament Haki. He then readies his swords and moves past his opponents in a flash while cutting them with incredible force. He first used his attack against Kaido in Root Peace to try to end him once and for all, but of course it didn't defeat him. Ashura is such a great style, and this technique is my favorite from the style. The fact that Zoro used Ashura and enhanced it with Advanced Conqueror's Haki is just insane. He of course does the latter unknowingly, but it doesn't change anything. That technique is awesome, and that's why it is my number 9. Number 8. Flying Dragon Blaze, also known as Hiryukaen. Using one sword wielded in his left hand, with his right hand gripping his left wrist for support, or vice versa. Zoro jumps high up into the air and slashes his opponent. After slashing them, Zoro's opponent then bursts into flames from where they were slashed. This was first used against Ryuma in Thriller Bark, but my favorite uses of it was in Root Peace, where Zoro slashes a horn of the Onigashima skull with that technique. I love this attack so much because it's a cool simple attack that will burn you in contact. The way the anime depicted it in Root Peace fight was great too, with the slash becoming a dragon-shaped burst of energy that jumps off contact. That's why it is my number 8. Number 7. Nigiri, Tower Climb Rifle, also known as Nigiri Toro Summon. Nigiri is a stance where two swords are held parallel so the tips are pointing to the right or left side. Tower Climb is an attack in which two air-based projectile slashes are sent upwards while jumping as Zoro swings his sword in an upward motion. And Summon is when two air-based projectiles are sent diagonally down and to the left or right after swinging both swords from the left or right. This specific technique was first used against Hawkins' Troll Monster in the Wano arc. The main reason I love this move so much is because of the anime. The way it was animated was spectacular, as we see Zoro do a monstrous pose and fly towards a strong monster to slash him into 2 pieces. The Wano anime truly has made Zoro's techniques even cooler. That's why it's my number 7. Number 6, Onigiri. This is a 3-way simultaneous slashing attack, in which Zoro crosses his 2 swords across his chest and places the blade in his mouth horizontally behind him. Zoro then approaches the target, usually at high speed, and cuts through by swinging the swords across his chest, resulting in a descending diagonal crushing slash from both swords, while the mouth blade performs an horizontal cut from either the left or right, depending on which side of the mouth he positioned the sword's main blade at. Man, that was specific. This is Zoro's signature attack, and was first used against Kabaji in the Orange Town arc. This is such an iconic technique from Zoro, and the fact that he keeps using it very constantly is great too. That's why it is my number 7. Number 5, Dragon Twister, also known as Tatsumaki. This is an attack in which Zoro spins with his swords to create a dragon-like tornado that both slashes and blows away his targets. It first debuted in the battle with Hachan in the Arlong Park arc. I love this technique so much because of how great it looks when Zoro performs it, especially in the Wano arc. For example, in episode 893, Zoro uses Dragon Twister to defeat some of the Mindstrike men that were in his home. The animation for it looks phenomenal, with frames that literally emphasizes how monstrous this attack is. Like, look at the shots! Zoro looks fierce as hell in them. Another reason why I love its attack is because I simply love dragons. They're some of my favorite mythical creatures ever, so this attack being based on them gets a thumbs up for me. That's why it is my number 5. Number 4, 1080-pound Phoenix, also known as Senshai Shijupon the Whole. This is a much stronger and powerful version of the 108-pound Phoenix, where Zoro does the exact same movement as before, holding one of his swords horizontally above the shoulder of his sword and then performs a circular swing that launches the air compressed projectiles paralleling towards the target. He first used the technique again in Dressrosa from his battle against Pika, in which he saved Robin, Bartolomeo, and the others from the Stone Man's rampage. This technique is so cool because it's basically an air slash attack of massive scale. It was able to cut the arm of an humongous Pika filled with rocks and buildings. I really wish he uses this technique more because it's truly a spectacle to witness. And that's why it is my number 4. Number 3, 3000 Worlds, also known as Saizen Sekai. This is an attack in which Zoro holds 2 of his swords at an angle against each other and rotates them rapidly while running towards his opponent to create momentum. He then slices up the foe with full speed and power with all 3 of his swords at once. He first used the technique against Mihawk, although he couldn't beat him with it. There is something so cool about Zoro just spinning his swords like a helicopter and then attacking his opponent with that momentum. Zoro just makes it look awesome. Remember that this technique also hurt Oars in Thriller Bark, so 3000 Worlds is no joke, and that's why it's my number 3. Number 2, Lion Song, also known as Shiji Sonson. Placing a single shedded sword upright and listening to the breath of his opponent, Zoro rapidly unsheaths, attacks while passing by his foe, and then resheaths his sword. Something interesting to point out is that Zoro does the technique in reverse grip from beside and over his head, as opposed to the usual from the waist with a standard grip on the sword. He first used the technique against Dance Bones, and was the move that finally defeated him. This is also the first one sword style technique used in the entire series. I love this attack so much because of how smooth it is. Unsheath, attack, then resheath. My favorite use of the Lion Song was against Kuma in Thriller Bark. When Kuma was about to take Luffy away, Zoro does the technique and damages him. That way the anime portrayed the scene was great. with the animation looking pretty crisp, and that's why it is my number 2. Before we get to number 1, here are my honorable mentions. Crossing the Six Paths, also known as Roronoa Zoro. He first used it against the Kraken Tsurume. Rashomon. He first used it in the Water 7 arc to cut open 2 sea trains cartridges filled with Marines and War Government agents. None of them were harmed at all. And Great Dragon Shock, also known as Daishinkan. He first used it against Monet in the Pon Hassan arc, terrified her to no end. Number 1. Tiger Trap, also known as Tora Gari. This is an attack in which Zoro puts his hand swords over his mouth blade and swings forward a forward descending slash with them. At close range, this can incapacitate at least 2 average foes at once. He first used this technique against the Nagan brothers in the Zero Village arc. This is definitely my favorite Zoro technique ever. I love the posture that Zoro is in with using Tiger Trap. My favorite use of this technique was in the battle against Mihawk, where he attempts to take him down with it. I love the way the anime portrayed that scene, with the use of black and white plus the sound effects. He also used it in Film Stampede where it looked amazing. I just love this technique so much, and that's why it is my number 1 favorite Zoro technique. And this was my top 10 Zoro techniques list. What do you guys think of this video? Did you like it? Is there a technique you like that I haven't mentioned in this list? Comments down below and let me know. Do not forget to leave a like in this video and subscribe to my channel for more content. Also, please watch my other videos and interact with them. I will really appreciate it. This was Mercy from Beansprout Productions, and I see you guys in the next video. Au revoir.